and welcome to the KOFISI Connect podcast, your source for a wealth of roundtable discussions on the workplace, business and cultural news and trends from the diverse and dynamic continent of Africa. Today, the future of the workplace in Africa, a hot topic when you consider that by 2030, it's projected that 1/3 of the global workforce will be in Africa. I'm your host, Georgia Webber, and today I'm very pleased to introduce Michael Aldridge, the CEO of KOFISI Africa, and Paul Kirsten, the CEO of Workshop17, who've just announced a first-of-a-kind partnership between their two companies. Welcome, Paul. Karibu, Kenya, and also welcome to KOFISI. Perhaps you can tell me a little bit how your members will benefit from the partnership.
Great, thank you, and it's really, really nice to be here, and I'm very excited about the partnership, because it opens up so many opportunities for our members, like for the KOFISI members. Just to think of that from the day of announcement, there is 22 locations available across 7 countries. That's 60,000 square meters of space. But it's not only the space, it's also the communities that are in the space, the companies that are in the space, the people and the expertise that you can tap into, the local knowledge that you can tap into when you're visiting one of the locations. The fact that you know that there's a quality space that you can work from, and you know that's secure, you know there's uninterrupted power, there's uninterrupted internet. So those are the basics. But imagine traveling into Africa. There's lots of questions that you will ask if you go to a new country. And those questions you can address in that location that you're visiting.
Michael, perhaps you'd like to add what you think KOFISI members, how they'll benefit.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Georgia. And I'm equally delighted by this opportunity. I think when considering our plans over the last 3 to 5 years, our number one goal has been continental reach for our members. And I think that we're now working with Workshop17 with their tremendous network in South Africa and Mauritius is a real value add to our members, not just actually for the space, but also for the facilities that are now available and the dynamic opportunities that gives, either for you when you're temporarily in that market or if you're thinking to expand your business into those environments, into South Africa in our case, or if Workshop17 clients want to expand up into some of the emerging markets that we're working in. I think it's very exciting.
So your combined network of locations and centres includes Morocco, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Mauritius, South Africa, and finally Nigeria. Absolutely,
yeah. I think that makes us. In fact, we know it makes us the largest independent network, but definitely the only one that's got to reach across all 4 points of the continent, which is a substantial offering for any of our members.
Paul, I mean, perhaps you can tell me a little bit about how members will benefit from the partnership and why it's so important for business here to kind of have a large network.
Look, I think we've searched quite a long time, and it's not so easy to find the right partner. And I think we found one in KOFISI, because there's a standard of quality that's in the spaces, but also a standard of service. So what we both offer, I think, is to create a friction-free environment for our members. So doing business is hard enough, and it goes with ups and downs. So if we take away all the hassle, if we take away all the stuff that's not core to the business, from dealing with local regulations to fit-outs, to HVAC, to issues of connectivity, taking that away, I think, just makes life a little bit easier for our members. And that's, I think, a big thing of what we are about. Can we make life easier for our members so they can be productive and they can do what they set out to do?
I agree with that. I think building on what Paul was saying is everything that he's outlining there is how we've set the business up for KOFISI in terms of the values. And this is all about having the best day possible for people, making it as easy for them to be able to focus on their main event, and we look after everything else. I think there's an absolute alignment in that objective, which makes the partnership very dynamic from the start.
How did you discover each other? Because your business goals in terms of what you offer members are very much aligned. You're operating in completely different territories or countries. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, I think there is. We've always been quite a fan of Workshop17. In fact, I said that to Paul the first time we met him. I think he was surprised by how much we knew. But we've always watched and admired how they've grown, and it's just been fabulous to find when you actually got inside and talked with the business that it actually was exactly as you thought it was from the outside, which is not always the case, but this very much was. And I think what really excites the team at KOFISI and me about Workshop17 is this passion for product, which feels as though it's a leaf out of our playbook, and that sort of desire to just continually innovate and to actually make things as good as they can, and that drive is really special, and we're really delighted to be partnering with them on that basis alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's an interesting value alignment, and it's quite a funny story how I met Michael for the first time. I thought it was just a first meeting to get to know each other, and he came to our location in Rosebank, the bank, and I said, "Shall I show you around?" No, it's already, I've already visited twice. I know what you're doing. I come with an agenda, and I think that agenda is an honest one. So it's not an agenda and a political one. It's to find someone who's really driven about what we can mean for our members, what we can mean in the continent, what difference we make to the business that we serve, but also to the individuals that come every day. So service, hospitality is such a core part of what both companies do. We care, and I think I could only work with partners that care, and that I think is cementing our partnership, but also builds the trust to say to our members, if you go to Nairobi, go to KOFISI, because you'll have a great time.
And so, both of you have established a kind of a really great reputation for offering the premium services to businesses and members. What would you say is the single most, the single one offering that is the secret of your success in your sectors, areas, I should say?
That's a great question. I think it's probably difficult to narrow it down to one, because it's a simple output from a very complex web of influences. That maybe the one thing is a sort of the singular desire to actually make sure that you care about the little things, right? You have to want the small things to be right, to be able to make the big thing for your client right, which is that they can focus on their job. And when we've considered the blend of space technology and service together, that's really been the ambition, is to actually just make it a supportive and assisted environment, right, for all members.
I think care is a key word that comes back, and I think we're not perfect. We also make mistakes. I'm sure KOFISI also, we don't get it right every time. But if we don't get it right, we care to get it right. And we are quite driven to do the best we can to create that friction-free environment. And I think next to that, both KOFISI and Workshop17 offer beautiful spaces. And I think everyone deserves a beautiful workspace. And beauty is underrated, I feel. But beauty impacts how we feel, impacts how we feel at ease, how we feel at comfort. And only then you can do the best that you can do. And secondly, I always say I want everyone that comes into a Workshop17 or a KOFISI every day to have at least one experience that you didn't think that would happen today, but that made your day, that impacted your day. It can be meeting a new person and opening a new idea, or opening a new connection, or just having a wonderful conversation, or a great service experience, something that makes it worthwhile to come into the office. And I think companies not always think about how do we make it worthwhile for employees and our co-workers to come to the office. If you want them to come together, to build company culture, to feel a sense of belonging, how do we make it worthwhile? And that's what Michael and his team and our team at Workshop17 every day we think about. We try to do the best for that as we can.
I think that's exactly that. I think it's agonizing over the little things that actually has fed both brands. And I think that pursuit of quality is a major North Star for us, major North Star for Paul and his team. And we have a combined commitment to not stop as well, because beyond the facilities and the geographical reach and the network we've created, I think the impact for the sector in Africa is going to be huge, because you're bringing together teams that have been working collectively on these ideas for over 20 years. And so the pace of innovation and the capacity of the innovation will only exponentially grow. And I think that's really exciting for our members. Certainly, like, you know, some of the initial conversations that we've been having as teams working together, the places that we'll be able to get to now are going to be, for both businesses, exponentially faster, which is just great because the goal is the member gets the better experience. And
I mean, the workplace itself has been constantly evolving, not only because of the pressures that were kind of exacerbated by COVID, that we've seen a real, people are looking at how the workplace attitudes, workplace environments have kind of changed. How do you envisage the partnership will further evolve the workplace sector in Africa?
Yeah. I think we're constantly thinking about why would people come to the office and what is the work that they want to do there. And I think one trend is that the office is becoming a place of connectivity, connection, belonging, sharing ideas, developing solutions. So it's a social place. It's not a place to go into an office, lock your door, and sit on your own the whole day. That most people can do at home. So, and then there is the online world that's come into the physical world. So the need of having quiet places where you can do your call, to having buzzy places where you can build up your energy. So we think of the workspace as a landscape that's continually evolving, and we continuously looking at what's the experience our members have, what's the questions they have, and how can we, like Michael said, how can we innovate and improve on our offering. So once we open a location, it's not done. It will stay alive, and we see how people are using it. How do we need to modify it to make it more conducive, to have a great experience and a productive day?
I think on top of what Paul's saying, because all these considerations are completely correct, and I think though we're also remembering that we're doing this in an emerging environment, and so I think the ambition has to be about what for the future, right, and the direction of travel of work in not just generically, but in the context of environments that are quite comfortable with leapfrogging legacy systems and jumping to very innovative answers. We've seen this in lots of different sectors, and we're seeing it now with faster adoption rates in this particular market. But I think it's going to be a very exciting place that we can get to quite quickly. When we're looking forward and how work is actually going to change. I mean, at the moment we're talking about relatively minor innovations in the way people are thinking about it, like hybrid working. I work some at home, I work some at work. But when you think contextually about the 90,000 hours that you're going to put into work in your life, like how that's actually going to be applied is going to change dramatically. Because everything's up for debate now, which is a really cool environment to be working in. And I think that also with what Workshop17 have achieved and what KOFISI have achieved, we've done those in relatively challenging environments, and we've definitely learned from our global peers. But I think there's a chance for us to lead now. We're a dynamic force operating, as you said, in a market which will be the dominant workforce for the globe, and it's seminally important for the world trajectory for the next 50 years as a continent. And so, we're here to help that growth.
I think both companies are on a growth trajectory, each of us, and growth not only to be bigger, but growth to have a wider community, to be in more locations, so that more and more companies can use it, grow in it, create jobs, and provide solutions. And I think in the end, that's also what gets us out of bed every morning. How can we grow our impact through servicing our members, who can then grow, get more jobs, attract more people, grow their talent, and create something that hopefully the world also makes a little bit of a better place.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
On the partnership. I wish you every success. Thank you for joining me today. Paul, have a safe trip back to South Africa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.